So, Shanna, thank you so much for joining me on the Make It British podcast today.
Pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Kate.
So, we met originally back at the beginning of 2021 on Clubhouse, which seems like a long distant memory now. That everyone was on audio. It was fun while it lasted, and it was great in lockdown.
Yeah. Are you still on it? I've deleted my app.
No,
I need to go back. Yes, I've been on this such a long time.
but what was really good is making connections with people like you that
Mm.
I might not have found out about otherwise. And you were always great at having that conversation about sustainability and design
Mm.
and all that sort of thing. So I want to cover some of that today. But first, let's
Sure.
backtrack about where did you start? How did your brand come about? Firstly, tell people what the name of your brand is and what's
Yeah,
your background.
yeah, sure. So I'm Shanna Bent. I'm founder and designer of Maison Bent. Maison Bent produces like conscious luxury clothing for the city chic lady that wants to buy better. So how did this all come about? I went to fashion school a long time ago now. Went to Central St Martin's for my foundation, then went on to London College of Fashion. During these years, I was able to get industry experience working for amazing companies such as Alexander McQueen, Roland Mouret, Agent Provocateur, which then eventually led me to launching my own brand. So I actually launched a brand in 2016. There was no planning behind it. I eventually fell out of love with it because it was very far removed from my personal identity. Ending of 2019, I said, you know what, it's time for a rebrand. And I said, I'm going to make it as personal as possible. I'm just going to use my name because I like my name. It represents me, it represents my background, my heritage. And then shortly after, I did my first ever solo presentation for London Fashion Week. And then, yeah, it's just been growing ever since.
Oh wow, you make it all sound so easy. You're like, oh, and then I did
It's
a
not at
presentation.
all.
So let's dig into that a little bit then as well. So, because going from working for those sorts of designers and then launching your own brand and getting to London Fashion Week so quickly, there's more than just luck there. What are some of the things you put down to your success, especially as you've been going such a short amount of time?
Yeah, it's consistency, Kate. Absolute consistency. I was actually thinking about this today, like just staying really like just having that tunnel vision instead, because you're going to come across people all the time that are like, Shanna, your studio is so expensive. How are you affording this? Is your return of investment worth it all the time? Believe it or not. And it's like, yes, it is. You don't see my long-term vision. It's going to kick off. It's going to work. So you just have to keep at it and don't listen to external opinions.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Because I mean, you look very young. You're
I'm
certainly
not that young. Shall I reveal my age? Born in
if
1990.
oh gosh, you look loads. You look amazing for your age. Then
I know people think I'm
brilliant.
much younger. I still go into shops. They're like, "Are you a student? Do you want a student discount?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah, I would like the student discount if you want to give it to me."
but the fashion business is tough.
Mm.
Like for anyone starting a new brand and then getting to London Fashion Week so quickly. I mean, how did you go from working for those other designers to then creating your collection and actually getting it made? Because am I right in saying you get everything made in the UK?
I get everything made in the UK. The majority of it I actually make myself. So what
Ah,
happened? Yeah. So what happened? So after all my internships, so those names that I mentioned, they're only just a few. I've actually done many other internships as well. I then went into full-time employment because after that, I was sick and tired of being a broke fashion student. I said, I want to go into full-time work. I said, I just want to have like an office job. I just want to make easy money, as they say. And then I just saved. I saved and saved and saved until eventually I said, okay, well, I really still love the fashion industry. I want to have my own brand. That's been my dream from a young girl. And I just bought my own materials. When I was working full time, though, I did actually have someone making my stuff for me. So I had an external, not many, like a samplist, we can say, but I would
yeah.
make my own patterns to like cut down the cost. So I would make my own patterns, cut them out, send them off to this guy in North London. He would then make it for me. Um, that eventually got pushed out, had my website, worked with a few influencers. But there was no plan behind it, and it eventually fizzled out. It was also quite, it was very far removed from my personal identity, and I eventually fell out of love with it. And yeah, so that's how it kind of happened. Just I saved money because I didn't have
Yeah.
like an investment from my family, external investment. Just really saved, asking for help from friends. You know, I don't think I would have gotten the brand this far if it wasn't for my friends and my social network, if I'm honest.
Yeah, so you pulled in connections, which is what you need to do, isn't it,
Yeah.
when you start in the industry? And I think things
I don't
pay
think
off in
people
the long
realize
run.
that. Yeah, I don't think people
Mm.
realize that. So actually, so before, sorry, I forgot to mention as well. So I actually did a bit of journalism before launching my brand. So I was a writer for a magazine. So from that experience of going to fashion shows, going to fashion parties, and meeting all these amazing people that eventually became my friends, yeah, I just wouldn't have been able to do it.
Ah, so that's interesting then about the
Mm.
journalism, because I've seen that you've had a lot of press,
Mm.
which a lot of people feel like they need to get an agency on board to get
That
press
was
for
my
them.
plan. That was my plan. I said, in order to launch my brand, I need a PR agency. And I'm like, how else am I going to do it? And then what happened from, I think from the presentation, I think if I didn't do the presentation, people wouldn't have taken me seriously. So I actually mentioned this in my my press course. Actually, I think people really focus on you once they see that you can do things in physical form, because there's so much traffic in the online world, and only a few people, actually come together to do these physical events because it is really pricey and it takes a lot of work and effort.
So you obviously have these connections and you've used those, but do you also actively reach out to journalists, and how do you pick which publications you're going to reach out to, and which have been the most which have moved the needle the most in your business as well?
Yeah. So yeah, I did reach out. I have been reaching out to loads of journalists. Can I think this said, okay, let me just like do a revelation. I think the Black Lives Matter movement helped to put Maison Bent in the forefront of a lot of people. I think if the movement didn't happen last year, I don't think the brand would have gotten as much exposure as it did. So I actually saw on social media that a lot of journalists that I had connected with via Fashion Week were looking for Black owned brands during that time. And I was like, oh my God, okay, yeah, I'm a Black owned brand. Let me email you. And I was like, oh, it's a trendy thing at the moment. Everyone wants to know Black owned businesses. So I literally got everyone's contact details. I sent a message out to everyone. And I was like, oh, finally, now you're listening to me because
So
it's
they should
trending.
too.
Yeah, and because it
But
was a trending topic at the time. So this is actually what I mentioned in my course, that you really need to keep an eye out on what is trending at the time and really focus your press release on that topic, even if your brand isn't really in that field of what's happening in society at that moment, but try to make your press release really relatable and current.
and relevant, yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true. In fact, I read actually somewhere about you that what you're trying to do is break down the misconception that Black people only have streetwear brands as well, which I think is a
Yeah.
really interesting point. Tell me a bit more about
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's just something that I kept hearing from whilst I was at fashion uni, believe it or not, and from my peers as well. It was just something that people, well, tutors would actually tell you, like, "Oh, Black people don't buy luxury. I think you should go more down the streetwear line." Honestly, yeah, yeah,
Gosh.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, yeah. It's quite shocking, and I think at fashion school as well, it's all about personal taste and style, and I think all of this is very what's the word? It just depends on you, like who is the god of determining what good taste and good style is. So if your tutor or your lecturers aren't, they're not familiar with like your background or your kind of cultural doings, if they don't understand you, it's deemed as bad, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and tutors, I remember my tutor when I was at fashion school. I mean, I won't even say what some of the things she said to me, but yeah, got it completely wrong. But it sticks with you as well because
It
they're like your
does.
teachers, your
You
mentors,
look
aren't
up to
they?
them. You literally look up
Yeah.
to them. I remember like just looking up to all these, like the creative director. They're amazing people, but yeah, like if they say something that really negative to you, you do really take it to heart, don't you? And it just stays
Yeah.
with you in your head.
Yeah. I remember my tutor was called Pepita de Foot. What a name.
What?
I know. It's fashion. I don't think it was her real name. So
Yeah.
back to you then. So you've got a fascinating background because your grandparents, is that right? Your grandparents came over
Mhm.
from Jamaica during the Windrush era.
Yeah.
How has that shaped your business and how you design?
Um, it's I'll say to everyone that my grandparents basically reflect my identity. I still live with my grandparents, and
Oh
so
wow,
yeah,
how sweet.
and it's rare, right? Not many people do.
No.
And yeah, like I said, you know, in 2019, I was like, I just want to make the brand about me and like my upbringing and what do I identify with the most. And it is actually my Jamaican background. I used to spend like every single summer there growing up, sometimes twice a year. We have so much family out there. And I think it has molded my identity. Like, yes, I'm a British Jamaican girl. I was born here, but a lot of my identity does resonate with Jamaica, St. Elizabeth. And so, yeah, my grandparents teach me everything about it. You know, every single day they teach me or share with me like different stories of their upbringing. My granddad's always telling me about like the little house he was in when he was growing up and it had like a straw roof and, you know, like all these things. And like, oh my God, you lived in a cave. It just seems so crazy now. And yeah, I think that their story is so beautiful. And so I just want to kind of share that and reflect it through Maison Bent because Maison Bent, it's going to be like our family's legacy. And that's what I want it to reflect.
You touched on a really good point there as well about it, but the brand being about your story, because I think that's what small businesses that make in the UK really can do is focus on that whole story, be it a background like yours or be it about the the provenance of where their products are made. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. But I know you're also the other side of your brand that you talk about a lot is sustainability, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is something you don't often associate with luxury. They don't often go hand in hand, certainly with the big luxury brands. So how are you helping
It's
to kind
crazy,
of
isn't it? But it
change?
should
Yeah,
go hand in
I
hand.
know.
It's crazy. Like I honestly, I believe that if a luxury item should be sustainable, otherwise in my head it's not luxury because it's damaging, it's polluting. That to me, that's not luxury. And I think nowadays, I think different people have different associations with that word. I think some people think, oh, luxury means it's just really expensive. Um, Other people associate it with like celebrity endorsement, or it's just a really weird word, and I think it has lost its meaning over time.
So focusing on sustainability, then
Mm-hmm.
it's for you. Is it about using sustainable materials? I mean, what is it with your brand that you say the sustainable parts of your brand?
Mm. Yeah, I believe every brand they can be sustainable in different ways. For Maison Bent, I really have I don't like plastics. I feel like, just under like doing your own research, understanding the contribution to plastic waste in the environment and the world, and understanding just, plastic will never go away. It's always going to be there. So I completely refrain from making anything from plastic. Everything is made from organic, natural fibres. I want my customers and the wearer of Maison Bent to have these items in the wardrobes for generations to come, just like how I wear my grandma's clothes from like the 50s and 60s now. I want that to happen with Maison Bent. And then once they are finally not in use anymore, or they get so worn down and so, not able to amend anymore, that they will disintegrate back into the earth because otherwise it will just make me feel really bad knowing that my whatever I'm producing is going to cause just for the environment to worsen and to contribute to CO2 emissions. So yeah, for my conscience, yeah, everything has to be made from natural fibers.
Yeah, and did I also see that you're doing something with vegan leather or vegan
I
leather-like materials?
am. Ta-da! I've got my new
Oh,
card
look, here's one she made
holders.
earlier.
My new vegan card holders. So yeah, as well as clothing, I really want to go into accessories as well. And so I've been looking into all these amazing innovative fibers. These are made out of like apple wastage. There are like fibers made out of like pineapples as well, cactus, mushroom, like all these innovative, amazing materials.
Yeah. How did you find that material in the first place?
They reached out to me. I think that I heard about it. I heard about apple leather, I think just online. I think I've just been seeing just advertisements for it, and I've seen like other brands also starting to use it as well. And then miraculously, it always happens. I just got an email from someone who was like, "Oh yeah, we do like leather goods." I'm like, "I don't use leather. Do you do any like plant-based fibers?" We're like, "Oh yeah, actually, we have a company just down the road from us. They produce apple leather. It'll be really, really good." I was like, "Okay, sure, let's try it." So this is actually the first batch.
It looks great
Yeah.
with the embossing on it.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm hoping to
That's
also
good.
go into like handbags as well, eventually.
So people listening to this will have to also watch the video recording so they can see you holding those up.
Oh yeah.
You also rent out your collection, don't you? Which I thought was interesting because I know there's a lot of websites that offer a rent service, but for a designer to do it directly from their own website,
Yeah. I hadn't
is
seen it
that something
before. Yeah, I hadn't seen
oh,
that
is that
before. I was like, why aren't
no,
people doing this? So
makes total sense.
so
Yeah.
Maison Bent is on a few rental websites. The rental websites that we're on, they were actually taking like a large cut, and it was also sometimes really weird to see what rentals were going out. So on the back of that and feeling kind of exploited to an extent, I said, I'm just going to offer it myself. Why am I giving you my customers and you're not telling me, you know, what's being rented and how much I'm being owned? So yeah, I'm just doing it myself on the website. So here we are.
And I thought that was really good because you said on your website, and if you decide you want to keep your Maison Bent rental, just let us know and you can pay off the balance.
Yeah.
What a great idea. Has anyone done that yet in terms of I've worn it, everyone said I looked amazing in it, I'm going to keep it?
Almost, but not yet. I have had someone who's like, "Oh my gosh, Shanna, I wore your dress," and everyone was commenting on it. Every single corner I turned, everyone was like giving me so many compliments. They loved it. But yeah, no one's actually kept it yet. I've created like bespoke items for people, but yeah, no one's actually kept it yet on the rental side. But it's a great way to kind of test it out before you actually make the plunge and actually purchase it yourself. In my business plan at the moment for the next year, so of course, you know, I know not these items won't be able to go on rent for a long time. So yeah, eventually then they'll end up in a sample sale.
So you also do made to order as well then? I suppose you can offer that if you're making things in-house. Yeah. How does that work out with doing that as well as also doing the ready to wear?
So there isn't actually any ready to wear pieces yet. So we're actually launching ready to wear next year. So the reason behind that is just because, you know, that having things made, it costs a lot of money, and it costs a lot of money for one, and also the minimum order quantities are often really high. However, I have found UK manufacturers who are able to make small quantities, so that is where Maison Bent is going. But the made to order part of it is kind of like a replacement for ready to wear at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, it's good that you found manufacturers. That's brilliant. Did you find them on Clubhouse as well?
Did I find them on Clubhouse? Just through word of mouth. And asking around and doing my own research. Because there's so many people like have their differences in terms of like how many pieces they can make, their turnaround times, what they're able to do as well. So of course, different manufacturers specialize in like different things. So it's been like a really interesting process to see. It's it's hard work, you know, finding the right manufacturer for you. But yeah, it's all down to your own research.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we help people as well, sort of connect them. Because like you just said, it totally depends on personalities, whether, you know, whether you'll get on with a certain manufacturer, what their capabilities are. And you've got a lot of tailoring within your collection.
Yeah.
And that is one of the most labor intensive things.
Oh yeah, it's pretty expensive.
But the advantage you've got though is that you know how long it takes you to make each piece. So that when you go to a manufacturer and they quote you a price on something, you've got a good idea about how many minutes it takes. Or you should have.
Yeah, exactly. Do
you cost
absolutely.
all that out?
Yeah, absolutely. So like if, you know, they can give me their price, if I know it's going to be cheaper to do all the cutting and pattern cutting myself and sizing in-house, then that's something to also consider and to kind of, you know, bargain with the manufacturer and say, you know, we can actually do this ourselves. Do you mind if we can like send you the ready cut pieces, which will also bring the cost down? But I know some places are a bit funny about that and want to do everything themselves in-house.
Yeah, it depends. I suppose that's again about having those conversations
Yeah.
with them and seeing what they want to do. Yeah.
Mm.
Where do you source most of your fabric from? Is it UK based fabric or do
UK,
you
yeah,
import?
yeah, yeah. I work with a lot of British mills, especially for the wools. So
Yeah.
wools are used a lot in the collection just because they're trans-seasonal. That wool can be, if you use the right wool, it can be quite cooling in the summer as well as being really warm in the winter. And yeah, I just love the idea of having things being sourced close to home. I like to know when my order is coming, where it's coming from, and just the kind of having the settled mind, knowing that it's not being transported from thousands of miles across the world. And I don't know when I'm going to get it. If I get an immediate order tomorrow, how long is it going to take? So yeah, it's mainly for convenience and peace of mind.
Plus, we make the best wool fabric in the world. I
I
mean,
think
I'm slightly
so.
biased. Yeah, we do. And it's good that you're supporting the local mills as well. That's really good.
Yeah.
Have you been to visit any yet?
I haven't. So I don't drive. So once I get my vehicle, then I want to be going outside of London and visiting everyone because I've come across quite a few amazing companies, as well as the clothing. I also want to go into accessories. I spoke to you about this before with like the wool scarves and come across so many like they're really nice. I reached out to two of the companies you mentioned. And one of them in
Brilliant.
particular, yeah, one of them in particular is like super, super nice, super responsive. But yeah, it would be nice to go and see eventually.
Yeah. When I go to factories, often I don't drive. I usually
Oh, you
get on the
don't?
train and
Mm.
I will work out a little route on Google Maps where they all are. And then I'll say to the first, I'll work out what the order is. And I'll say to the first one, would you mind picking me up from the station?
Oh, really?
And then it's a knock-on chain effect from there. So,
Oh, that's
just
nice.
getting each one to drop you off at the next.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd be surprised. Quite
Oh,
often
okay. And
they'll have
something to
someone that can
consider.
help you. Yeah, don't let
Yeah.
it stop you going to visit
Okay.
manufacturers if you
Yeah,
can't
that's
drive.
good advice. Thanks, Kate. I'll give that a
And
go.
better for the environment as well.
Yeah.
So just a final question then. You touched on earlier what your kind of long-term plans are, but where do
Mm.
you see Maison Bent being in 5 years' time?
Oh my God. So like the ultimate goal is for Maison Bent to eventually be a heritage brand. I'm all about longevity, Kate. I feel like there's so many brands that have like really fast growth. Um, but they might I'm not saying they will, but they might wear out like within like 2 5 years time just because they're like that trendy brand. They're very, very current and because they keep up with the trends, it's not long term. Whereas Maison Ben, I want it to be long term. I want it to last forever. I want it to be that brand that you can see wearing the pieces throughout decades. I want it to last. So yeah, that is the end goal for Maison Ben to be a heritage brand. British made with Jamaican heritage.
Yeah, exactly. And made to last.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think we can encourage more people to buy products that are made to last, particularly fashion products that are made to last? Or should I
Yeah.
say clothing rather than fashion? How
Yeah.
how do we educate people to do that, do you think?
I think it's up to us to continue educating people because that's something that I've realized that many consumers don't know how their clothes are actually made, and the clothes that they see on like the really cheap sites for like £5 for a whole dress, that's insane. Nothing should cost £5. That means they didn't pay anyone to make that item. That means that the fabric that they're using is really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes hours. People need to know that it actually takes like 5 hours to make a simple A-line dress, from cutting the fabric to pattern cutting to putting it all together to finishing the lining. It's a lot of time. And if you consider the minimum hourly wage, now that the minimum wage is like £10 for like the youngest person, right? So
Yeah.
imagine that. Like, so if someone isn't being paid the minimum wage to make an item, it's not a good thing, and we should not be promoting it.
Well done. Well said. Really well said. That's a great note to end on. Shanna, where can everyone find you and follow you? What are the best places for them to see you?
Yeah. So you can head over to the Maison Bent website, www.maisonbent.com, or follow me on social media, Maison Bent Official. My personal page is miss.bent. So yeah, do give us a follow.
Fantastic. And are you showing at London Fashion Week next season?
It's a bit close. I might not be showing in February. Might have another event, but I am hoping for September something to take place then.
Brilliant. Oh, well, good luck with everything, Shanna. I think your brand is amazing and you've
Thanks
done
so
so
much for
well
your
so
support.
far. Oh, and thank you for coming on the Make It British podcast.
I'm glad. Thank you. I can't wait to see it.
Brilliant. Take care.
All
Bye.
right. Take care. Bye.